What if the chaos you are living through right now is not a sign that you are failing, but the exact signal that everything is about to lock into place? What if the confusion, the uncertainty, the strange sense that nothing in your life quite fits together yet is not evidence of a wrong turn, but the precise frequency the field emits right before a massive convergence? Because here is what no one tells you. The universe does not send you clarity before the shift. It sends you disruption. It sends you the feeling that everything is falling apart. And that feeling, that exact sensation moving through your body right now, is not a warning. It is a confirmation. Stay with me here because this is going to change the way you see everything that is happening in your life right now. You have been waiting for things to make sense. I know you have. You have been putting in the work, showing up, doing what you thought was right. And instead of the reward you expected, instead of the clear path forward, you got what looks like a mess. Scattered pieces everywhere. Relationships that ended when you thought they were just beginning. Opportunities that dissolved right when you reached for them. Skills you have spent years developing that seem to have no home, no application, no purpose. And the voice in your head, that relentless narrator, keeps telling you the same story. You are behind. You missed something. Everyone else figured it out, and you are still fumbling in the dark. But here's the thing. That voice is not telling you the truth. That voice is reading from an old script, one that was written by a version of you that no longer exists, based on a reality that is no longer relevant. And if you keep listening to it, if you keep measuring your life against that outdated map, you will miss the most extraordinary thing that is happening right beneath the surface of everything you can see. Let me explain what is actually going on. Your life is not a straight line. It never was. The idea that you are supposed to move from point A to point B in some logical, predictable sequence is one of the deepest lies you were ever told. It is a lie that keeps you anxious, keeps you comparing, keeps you convinced that deviation means failure. But reality does not work that way. Quantum physics does not work that way. Consciousness does not work that way. Nothing in the actual fabric of existence moves in straight lines. Everything moves in spirals. Everything moves in waves. Everything builds through what looks like chaos before it resolves into coherence. Think about this for a moment. Think about how a symphony is composed. There are moments of dissonance, moments where the notes clash and collide and create tension that feels almost unbearable. If you stopped the symphony right there, in the middle of that dissonance, you would think something had gone wrong. You would think the composer made a mistake. But the composer knows something you do not. The composer knows that dissonance is not the opposite of harmony. It is the doorway to it. Without the tension, the resolution has no power. Without the chaos, the order has no beauty. Without the falling apart, the coming together means nothing. You are living in the dissonance right now, and I need you to hear me when I say this. The dissonance is not the problem. The dissonance is the music. Let that land for a moment. Breathe into that. Because your entire nervous system has been trained to interpret dissonance as danger, to read uncertainty as threat, to feel the absence of a clear plan and immediately flood your body with cortisol and adrenaline and the desperate urge to do something, anything, to make the discomfort stop. But what if the discomfort is not something to escape? What if it is something to inhabit? What if the very sensation you have been running from is the exact frequency of transformation? If this is already speaking to something deep inside you, take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to this channel so these transmissions keep finding you when you need them most. There is a concept in quantum physics called the observer effect. At the subatomic level, particles exist in a state of pure potential, a wave function of infinite possibilities, until the moment they are observed. It is the act of observation itself that collapses the wave function and brings a specific reality into being. The particle does not decide what to become on its own. It becomes what it becomes in relationship to the consciousness that is watching. Now think about what that means for your life. Think about what that means for this moment you are living through. All of these scattered pieces, all of these experiences that seem disconnected and random and purposeless, they exist right now in a state of potential. They have not collapsed into their final form yet. They have not revealed their purpose yet. Not because they do not have one, but because the pattern is not yet complete enough for your consciousness to observe it. You are trying to collapse the wave function too early. You are trying to force meaning onto pieces that have not finished arranging themselves. And that premature observation, that desperate need to know what it all means right now, is actually the thing that keeps the picture from forming. Because when you observe from a state of fear, when you look at your life through the lens of panic and inadequacy, you collapse possibilities into the shape of your anxiety. You literally create the reality you are afraid of by observing from that frequency. But when you observe from trust, when you look at those same scattered pieces from a place of calm knowing, something entirely different happens. The wave function collapses differently. The pieces arrange themselves into patterns you could not have predicted, could not have planned, could not have forced into being with all the effort and strategy in the world. This is not metaphor. This is not wishful thinking. This is the fundamental nature of reality as described by the most rigorous science we have. Consciousness shapes what becomes real. The quality of your attention determines the quality of what materializes. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice about what kind of observer you are going to be. So what does this mean practically? What does it look like to stop collapsing the wave function from fear and start collapsing it from trust? It starts with something that sounds simple but is actually one of the most radical things you can do. It starts with stopping. Not stopping your life, not stopping your effort, but stopping the frantic mental narration that tells you every moment of uncertainty is a crisis. Stopping the compulsive comparison that turns every other person's visible success into evidence of your invisible failure. Stopping the relentless future projection that keeps you living in a tomorrow that does not exist yet, while missing the intelligence embedded in today. Because here is what changes everything. The present moment, this one, the one you are in right now, is not a waiting room. It is not the space between where you are and where you want to be. It is the laboratory. It is the field where reality is being generated, and every signal it is sending you, every feeling moving through your body, every seemingly random thought or impulse or attraction is data, not noise. Data. Your life is not happening to you. It is communicating with you. And right now, it is communicating something profound, something that your rational mind cannot decode, but your deeper intelligence already understands. I want to ask you something right now. What is the one thing in your life that felt like a complete dead end? but later turned out to be exactly what you needed. Share that moment in the comments, because your story might be the exact confirmation someone else needs to hear today. Think about the last time something clicked in your life. Not a small click, a big one. A moment where suddenly everything made sense, where you could see the thread connecting experiences that had seemed completely unrelated. Maybe it was meeting someone and realizing that every failed relationship before them had been teaching you exactly what you needed to know to recognize and receive this one. Maybe it was landing in a career that drew on skills from 3 different jobs you thought were dead ends. Maybe it was a moment of insight where years of confusion suddenly resolved into crystal clarity, and you thought, "Oh, that is what all of that was for." Remember how that felt. Remember the awe of it, the humility of it, the recognition that something far more intelligent than your conscious planning had been orchestrating the whole thing. Remember how you looked back at the pieces that had seemed so random and saw that every single one of them was essential. Not one was wasted. Not one was a mistake. Now here is what I need you to consider. What if that same intelligence is operating right now? What if it is always operating? What if the only difference between this moment and that moment of clarity is not that the intelligence is absent now, but that you cannot see its work yet because you are still inside it? You are inside the painting. And from inside the painting, all you can see is color and texture and what looks like randomness. You have to step back. You have to let time create distance before the image reveals itself. But the image is already there. It is already being painted. The artist has not left the canvas. I want to talk about something that most people misunderstand about how transformation actually works. Because this is where the real shift happens. Not in the understanding, but in the embodiment. Most people think change is linear. They think you decide to become something new, you take action toward that new thing, and gradually you transform. Like climbing a ladder, one rung at a time, steady upward progress. But that is not how deep transformation works. That is how surface-level change works. That is how you rearrange the furniture in a room. Real transformation, the kind that changes not just what you do, but who you are, follows a completely different pattern. It follows the pattern of death and rebirth. And I do not mean that metaphorically, although it is a powerful metaphor. I mean it literally, at the level of your nervous system, your neural pathways, your cellular memory. When you are undergoing genuine transformation, old neural networks have to dissolve before new ones can form. Old patterns of perception have to die before new ones can be born. Old identities have to be released before new ones can emerge. And that dissolution, that death of the old, does not feel like progress. It feels like loss. It feels like confusion. It feels like everything you were sure of becoming uncertain. It feels like the ground disappearing beneath your feet. It feels exactly like what you are feeling right now. The caterpillar does not gradually sprout wings. That is not how metamorphosis works. The caterpillar enters the cocoon and dissolves. It literally liquefies. Its entire structure breaks down into an undifferentiated soup of cells. And within that soup, something called imaginal cells begin to activate. These are cells that carry the blueprint of the butterfly. Cells that existed within the caterpillar all along, but were dormant, waiting for the dissolution to create the conditions for their activation. The caterpillar's immune system actually attacks these imaginal cells at first. It treats them as foreign invaders, as threats. Because from the perspective of the caterpillar's identity, they are threats. They are the agents of its dissolution. They are the harbingers of an identity it cannot yet comprehend. If this video is awakening something in you, what we have explored here only touches the surface. My complete guide, Beyond the Frequencies, a quantum guide to consciousness mastery, walks you through the full system of 9 master frequencies, step by step, from transforming resistance into creative power to living as the field itself rather than separate from it. It is linked in the pinned comment below. Pause with that for a moment. Because this is exactly what is happening inside you. The new version of you, the one that is trying to emerge, the one that all of this chaos is building toward, it is already present. It exists within you right now as a pattern, a potential, a set of imaginal cells waiting to organize into something your current identity cannot even imagine. And your old self, your old patterns, your old way of seeing the world is fighting it. Not because the old self is bad, but because the old self does not recognize what is coming. It only knows what has been. And what has been is no longer sufficient for what is trying to become. So the resistance you feel, the fear, the doubt, the voice that says this is not working, you are not making progress. You should go back to what was safe and familiar. That is not your wisdom speaking. That is your caterpillar immune system attacking the imaginal cells. It is a natural part of the process, but it is not the truth of what is happening. The truth of what is happening is metamorphosis, and metamorphosis requires the willingness to be soup for a while. I know that is not what you want to hear. I know you want the 5-step plan. I know you want the timeline. I know you want someone to tell you exactly when this phase ends and the next one begins. But the deepest transformations do not come with timelines. It's because they are not operating on clock time. They are operating on what we might call Kairos time, the time of ripeness, the time of readiness, the time when all the conditions align and the shift happens not because you forced it, but because it could not happen. Think about a fruit ripening on a tree. You cannot make it ripen faster by pulling on it. You cannot make it ripen faster by worrying about it or comparing it to the fruit on the next tree. It ripens when the conditions are right, when it has received enough sunlight and water and time. And when it is ripe, it does not need to be pulled. It falls effortlessly, inevitably, because ripeness is its own force. You are ripening, and I know it does not feel like ripening. It feels like waiting. It feels like stalling. It feels like everyone else's fruit fell a long time ago and yours is still hanging there, stubborn and green and refusing to cooperate. But ripening is not visible from the outside. The most important changes are happening in the chemistry, in the cellular structure, in the invisible interior where sweetness is being created molecule by molecule. Here is what no one tells you about the people whose lives seem to click into place overnight. It was never overnight. What you saw was the fruit falling. What you did not see was the years of invisible ripening that made the falling possible. The years of confusion and doubt and scattered pieces and wondering if any of it would ever make sense. They went through exactly what you are going through. They just did not post about it. And here is the real secret, the one that changes everything if you let it. You do not need to understand the pattern to be part of it. You do not need to see the whole picture to trust that it exists. You do not need to know where you are going to be on the right path. Because the path is not something you walk toward. The path is something that forms beneath your feet as you walk. It does not exist ahead of you waiting to be found. It is being created by you, by every step you take, by every choice you make, by every moment of trust you offer to the unknown. Tell me in the comments, what is the old identity you can feel dissolving right now? What version of you is the cocoon breaking down? Name it, because the moment you acknowledge what is leaving, you make space for what is arriving. This is the quantum nature of reality expressing itself through your life. Possibilities do not become realities until consciousness moves through them. Your path does not exist as a fixed route waiting to be discovered. It crystallizes out of pure potential in response to the quality of presence you bring to each moment. Fear crystallizes one set of possibilities. Trust crystallizes another. And the difference between a life that feels like struggle and a life that feels like flow is often nothing more than the difference between those two frequencies of observation. So let me ask you something, and I want you to really sit with this, not answer it quickly, not give the answer you think you should give, but actually feel into it. What if nothing has gone wrong? What if everything, every single thing that has happened to you, every disappointment, every detour, every loss, every confusion has been exactly right? Not right in the sense that it felt good, not right in the sense that you would have chosen it, but right in the sense that it was necessary, right in the sense that it was building something in you that could not have been built any other way. What if the job you hated was not a waste of time but an essential education in what you actually value? An education that could only be received through the experience of its opposite. What if the relationship that ended was not a failure, but a completion, a soul contract fulfilled, a chapter that had to close so the next one could open? What if the plan that fell apart was not a defeat, but a redirection? The universe saying, not this, not yet, not this way, something better, something you cannot see from here. Feel into that possibility, not as a concept, but as a felt sense in your body. What happens when you consider, even for a moment, that your life has been perfectly orchestrated all along? What happens in your chest, in your belly, in your shoulders? Do you feel something soften? Do you feel something release? That softening, that release, that is not just emotional comfort. That is a shift in your field coherence. That is your nervous system moving from sympathetic activation, the fight or flight of trying to control everything, into parasympathetic rest, the state where healing happens, where insight arises, where the deeper intelligence can finally be heard. Because here is something fascinating about the relationship between your nervous system and your capacity to perceive reality. When you are in a stress state, your perception literally narrows. This is well documented in neuroscience. Under threat, real or perceived, your brain filters out everything except what is immediately relevant to survival. Your field of vision narrows. Your hearing becomes selective. Your thinking becomes rigid and binary, safe or dangerous, right or wrong, working or failing. This is useful if you are being chased by a predator. It is catastrophic if you are trying to perceive the subtle patterns of a life in transformation. When you are stressed about your life not making sense, you are literally making yourself incapable of seeing how it makes sense. Your stress state is filtering out the very connections, the very patterns, the very synchronicities that would show you the picture is forming. You are standing in front of a magic eye painting, squinting harder and harder, when the only way to see the hidden image is to relax your eyes and let your focus soften. This is why trust is not just a spiritual platitude. It is a perceptual technology. When you trust, your nervous system relaxes. When your nervous system relaxes, your perception widens. When your perception widens, you begin to see connections you could not see before. You begin to notice synchronicities. You begin to feel the subtle pull of intuition guiding you toward the next piece, the next conversation, the next experience that belongs in the puzzle. Trust is not blind faith. Trust is expanded perception, and expanded perception is what allows you to cooperate with the intelligence that is already organizing your life. Now, I want to take this deeper because there is a layer here that most people never reach, and it is the layer where the real power lives. Everything I have said so far could be understood as a message about patience. Wait it out. Trust the process. Things will come together eventually. And while that is true, it is not the whole truth. Because this is not just about waiting. This is about participating. This is about becoming a conscious co-creator with the field of intelligence that is assembling your life. There is a difference between passive waiting and active allowing. Passive waiting is sitting on the couch, hoping the universe delivers your dream life. Active allowing is something entirely different. Active allowing is showing up fully to each moment, bringing your complete presence and attention to whatever is in front of you, while simultaneously releasing your grip on how it is supposed to look, what it is supposed to mean, and when it is supposed to resolve. Active allowing is the farmer who plants the seeds, waters the soil, tends the garden, and then trusts the earth to do what the earth does. The farmer does not sit inside and hope. The farmer works, but the farmer also does not stand over the soil screaming at it to grow faster. The farmer understands that there is a partnership happening between human effort and natural intelligence, between personal will and universal timing, between doing and being. You are being asked to find that balance right now. Not to stop working, not to stop caring, not to stop showing up, but to stop forcing, to stop gripping, to stop trying to control the timeline and the outcome and every variable in between. Because your grip is actually preventing the very thing you want. Your white-knuckled hold on how it is supposed to happen is blocking the way it actually wants to happen, which is almost certainly more beautiful, more surprising, and more perfect than anything you could have planned. Think about the most magical things that have ever happened in your life. The moments of pure grace, of unexpected connection, of doors opening that you did not even know existed. How many of those did you plan? How many of those appeared on your vision board or your 5-year plan? Almost none of them, right? The best things in your life came from the space between your plans. They came from the cracks in your certainty. They came from the moments when you let go just enough for something greater to move through. That is what is being asked of you now. Not to abandon your dreams, but to hold them loosely. Not to stop caring about your future, but to stop strangling it. To make space between your desire and your demand, between your intention and your insistence, and to let that space be filled by an intelligence that sees further than you can, that knows more than you know, that is working on a timeline that makes your impatience irrelevant. Here is where it gets interesting. There is a phenomenon in physics called emergence. Emergence is what happens when simple components interact in ways that produce something far more complex and sophisticated than any of the individual parts could create alone. Water molecules are not wet, but when enough of them come together in the right conditions, wetness emerges. Individual neurons are not conscious, but when billions of them connect in the right patterns, consciousness emerges. No single bird in a murmuration knows the shape the flock is making. But the shape emerges anyway, breathtaking and perfect, from the simple interactions of each bird with its nearest neighbors. Your life is an emergent phenomenon. The pieces, the experiences, the skills, the relationships, the failures, the victories, none of them individually contains the meaning of your life. But when they interact, when they connect in ways that only time and trust can facilitate, something emerges that is greater than any of them. A pattern, a purpose, a life that makes sense not because you planned it, but because you lived it fully enough for the emergence to happen. And emergence cannot be forced. It cannot be predicted. It cannot be controlled. It can only be allowed. It arises from the interaction of parts, and the more you try to control how the parts interact, the more you prevent the emergence from happening. This is why the most controlling people often have the least magical lives. Not because the universe is punishing them, but because control and emergence are fundamentally incompatible. You get one or the other. You cannot have both. So the invitation right now, the real invitation beneath everything I am saying, is to choose emergence over control, to choose trust over certainty, to choose the wild, unpredictable, terrifyingly beautiful process of letting your life assemble itself through the interaction of all its parts, rather than trying to force it into a shape that your limited perspective designed. I want to give you something to practice. Not a technique, not a strategy, but a way of being with your life that changes everything. The next time you feel the anxiety rising, the next time you look at your life and see only scattered pieces and no picture, the next time that voice starts telling you that you are behind, that you are failing, that everyone else has it figured out, I want you to do something counterintuitive. I want you to stop. I want you to place your hand on your chest. I want you to feel your heartbeat. And I want you to say, silently or out loud, this is part of it. Not this will lead to something better. Not this is happening for a reason. Just this is part of it. Because that simple acknowledgement does something profound to your field. It stops the resistance. It stops the argument with reality. It stops the energy leak of wishing this moment were different and brings all of your power back to the only place it has ever actually existed, which is here. This is part of it. The confusion is part of it. The waiting is part of it. The not knowing is part of it. The fear is part of it. The doubt is part of it. Even the resistance to hearing this is part of it. All of it. Every last piece. Part of the emergence that is your life becoming what it is becoming. And when you can hold that, when you can really hold that, without needing to understand it, or fix it, or rush past it, something shifts in your field that is almost impossible to describe, but unmistakable when you feel it. A settling, a deepening, a coming home to a knowing that was always there, but was drowned out by the noise of your resistance. The knowing that says, yes, this is right, even though I cannot see how. Yes, I am exactly where I need to be, even though it looks nothing like what I expected. Yes, Something is being built here, and my job is not to build it, but to trust the builder. That knowing is not something you create. It is something you uncover. It lives beneath your anxiety like bedrock beneath topsoil. It has always been there. It will always be there. Your only task is to stop piling so much noise on top of it that you cannot feel it anymore. Let me tell you something about the nature of time that might shift your entire relationship with where you are right now. We experience time as linear, as a sequence of moments moving from past through present into future. But physics tells us something very different. Physics tells us that time is not what it seems. At the quantum level, the distinction between past, present, and future is far less clear than our everyday experience suggests. Equations work the same forward and backward. Particles can be entangled across time as well as space. The future, in a very real sense, is not something that has not happened yet. It is something that exists in a state of potential that is in constant dialogue with the present. What if your future self, the one who has already arrived at the place you are trying to reach, is not waiting for you somewhere up ahead? What if that version of you is reaching back, pulling you forward, arranging the pieces from a vantage point you cannot access yet? What if the intuitions you feel, the inexplicable pulls towards certain things and away from others, the moments of sudden clarity that flash through your mind and then disappear? What if those are not random? What if they are communications from a version of you that already knows how the puzzle comes together? This is not as strange as it sounds. Quantum entanglement demonstrates that particles can influence each other instantaneously across any distance. If consciousness is quantum in nature, and there is growing evidence that it is, then the idea that your future state of being can influence your present state of being is not mysticism. It is physics. So when you feel that pull, that quiet but persistent sense that something is coming, that things are aligning even though you cannot see it, trust that feeling. It is not wishful thinking. It may be the most accurate perception you have. It may be your future self whispering through the quantum field, saying, "Keep going, keep trusting. It is all coming together. You just cannot see it from there yet." Now I want to address something directly because I know it is sitting in the back of your mind. I know there is a part of you that is listening to all of this and thinking, "This sounds nice, but my situation is different. My problems are real. My bank account is actually empty. My relationship actually ended. My career is actually stalled. This is not just a perception issue. This is my life." And you are right. Your challenges are real. Your pain is real. Your circumstances are real. I am not asking you to pretend otherwise. I am not asking you to paste a smile over genuine difficulty or to spiritually bypass your very human experience. What I am asking you to consider is that the reality of your challenges and the reality of your transformation are not mutually exclusive. Both are true at the same time. Your bank account can be thin, and your abundance can be forming. Your relationship can have ended, and your capacity for deeper love can be expanding. Your career can be stalled, and your purpose can be crystallizing. These are not contradictions. They are the paradox of being a human being in the middle of becoming. The ability to hold paradox, to sit with two seemingly contradictory truths without collapsing into one or the other. This is perhaps the most important capacity you can develop. Because reality is paradoxical. Quantum physics is paradoxical. Light is both a wave and a particle. An electron is in all places and one place simultaneously. The universe is both expanding and connected. Paradox is not a problem to be solved. It is the nature of existence to be inhabited. And your life right now is a paradox. It is both falling apart and coming together. It is both the hardest thing you have been through and the most important thing you have been through. It is both the end of something and the beginning of something. And your power lies not in resolving the paradox, but in inhabiting it fully, in being big enough to hold both sides without breaking. This is where everything changes, not when the pieces finally click together, although they will. Not when the picture finally becomes clear, although it will. Everything changes in the moment you stop needing it to change. Everything shifts in the instant you become willing to be exactly where you are, with exactly what you have, in exactly the confusion and uncertainty and not knowing that defines this phase of your becoming. Because that willingness, that radical acceptance of what is not resignation. It is the most powerful creative act available to you. It is the moment you stop fighting the current and start flowing with it. It is the moment you stop being an obstacle to your own emergence and become a participant in it. It is the moment the caterpillar stops trying to remain a caterpillar and surrenders to the soup. And from that surrender, from that willingness to be dissolved and reformed, something begins to happen that you could never have made happen through effort alone. The imaginal cells activate. The new pattern begins to organize. The scattered pieces start, moving toward each other as if magnetized, drawn together by a force that has nothing to do with your planning and everything to do with your presence. You will look back on this time. You will look back on this exact period of your life, this season of confusion and scattered pieces and not knowing, and you will see it as the most important time of your entire journey. Not despite the difficulty, but because of it. Because the difficulty was the dissolution. The difficulty was the cocoon. The difficulty was the necessary condition for the emergence of something so far beyond what you could have planned that your plans would have actually gotten in the way. Consider sharing this video with someone you know who is in their own cocoon right now, someone going through that season of confusion and scattered pieces. When you share these words with them, you are not just passing along a video, you are creating a ripple in the quantum field that reinforces this frequency of trust in both of you, strengthening your own alignment while opening a doorway for their awareness to shift. That single act of sharing can become the synchronicity they have been waiting for. 6 months from now, a year from now, some morning that you cannot yet imagine. You are going to wake up and something will have shifted. Not because of one dramatic event, although there may be one, but because enough pieces will have quietly moved into position that the picture suddenly becomes visible. And in that moment, you will see it. You will see how the job you thought was a dead end connected you to the person who opened the door. You will see how the skill you thought was useless became the exact thing that set you apart. You will see how the heartbreak carved out the space for a love you could not have received before. You will see how every delay was protection, every detour was positioning, every moment of confusion was the universe rearranging the board in your favor while you were too close to see it. And in that moment of seeing, you will feel something that makes all of this worth it. Not just relief, although there will be relief. Not just vindication, although there will be that too. You will feel awe. You will feel the breathtaking recognition that you were never alone in this, that something vast and intelligent and unspeakably loving was holding every piece, moving every element, orchestrating every apparent coincidence with a precision that your conscious mind could never have achieved. And you will be grateful. Not for the ease, because there was not much ease, but for the trust. For the moments when you chose to keep going even though you could not see where you were going. For the moments when you chose faith over fear, not because it was easy, but because something deeper than your doubt whispered, "Keep walking." For the moments when you chose to believe that your life knew what it was doing even when you absolutely did not. Those moments of trust, those are the real victories. Not the achievements that come later, not the visible results that the world celebrates. The moments when you stood in the dark and chose to believe in the light. Those are the moments that built the version of you who could receive everything that was coming. So here is what I want you to carry with you from this moment forward. Not as a belief you hold in your mind, but as a knowing you feel in your bones. It is all coming together. Right now. Not someday. Not eventually. Not when you finally get your act together or figure out the plan or earn the right to receive it. Right now, in this moment, in this breath, the pieces are moving. The pattern is forming. The emergence is happening. And your only job, your only real job, is to be present enough to participate in it and trusting enough to let it unfold at its own pace in its own way. Stop measuring your life against timelines that were never yours. Stop comparing your invisible inner work to someone else's visible outer results. Stop forcing pieces that are not ready to connect. Stop abandoning the process just because you cannot see the product. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are becoming. And becoming is the bravest, most disorienting, most sacred thing a human being can do. The pieces are all here. Every single one of them. The ones that look like failures. The ones that look like detours. The ones that look like nothing at all. They are all here, and they are all essential, and they are all moving toward each other right now with a momentum that your doubt cannot stop and your fear cannot slow. Trust this. Trust yourself. Trust the intelligence that brought you to this exact moment, listening to these exact words, feeling exactly what you are feeling. None of this is accident. None of this is random. You found this because you were ready to hear it. And you were ready to hear it because the shift is closer than you think. It is all coming together. Breathe into that. Let it settle into your body like water into soil. Let it reach the roots. Let it nourish the parts of you that have been running on empty, waiting for permission to believe that everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be more than okay. Everything is going to be extraordinary. Not because your life will become perfect, but because you will become the kind of person who can see the perfection that was always there, hidden in the chaos, woven into the confusion, waiting in the scattered pieces for the moment when your eyes finally learned to see. That moment is now. If you are still here, if you have stayed with me through all of this, that is not coincidence. That is confirmation. Something in you recognized the truth in these words, not because I said anything new, but because I reminded you of something you have always known. You are exactly where you need to be. And where you need to be is exactly where everything comes together. If this reached you, if something in this shifted even slightly the way you see your life right now, leave one word in the comments, just one word that captures what you are feeling. Not what you are thinking, what you are feeling. Let that word be your anchor, your marker, your way of saying I was here and something changed. And if you want to stay in this frequency, if you want to keep receiving these transmissions that remind you of what you already know, subscribe to this channel, not for information, not for entertainment, but for remembering. Because sometimes the most powerful thing in the world is simply being reminded of a truth you forgot you knew. It is all coming together. Trust that. Trust yourself. And keep going. Now go watch your entire reality is splitting right now. The quantum field. Chose this moment to tell you because it reveals exactly how the quantum field is actively reorganizing your timeline and why the reality split happening right now is the very convergence your scattered pieces are moving toward.